I hope you're going to be taking notes tonight. I hope you're going to be listening to this one, because today I was making notes and writing things down to bring you up to speed. You're going to love this one. You are going to love this presentation tonight. Now, let me remind you, first of all, I have to allow you to, and I have to ask you to please like this video. Like the videos. The likes are so important. We get the chance to let people know what we're here, and we get into the recommended range. And if you have not subscribed to the channel, well, I don't know what's the matter with you. So please, I ask you this. Today, as we are about to talk about all of these meetings, there's Freedom Fest, and then this one over here, and then there's going to be CPAC. Conservatives love to meet and talk and this, and while you're at it, a great supporter of ours, MyPillow.com, love these people, have some of the best products and the best items available for you. There's a link right here for you to avail yourself of. And I ask you, we are a MyPillow home. Slippers, name it. It's a great cause and a great group, and we love them. And you will to MyPillow.com, promo code Lionel, and get a free gift. Today, Tucker Carlson was magnificent. If Tucker Carlson can stick to this and lay off going into interviewing depraved people suspected of human trafficking and God knows what, if he can work on burnishing his image, think carefully of the people he is dealing with. Sky is the limit. It was one of the most wonderful things ever. And I'm going to try to, if I could, explain this to you. And you may or may not understand it because nobody is saying this. And the reason why I say this is that you may not understand what I'm saying because very few people are saying it and don't understand it. First, let's talk about something. There are every year there are wonderful groups. Freedom Fest is going on. This was in Iowa, I forget the name of it, family something or other, and then there's CPAC, and then there's, you name it, there's all these, and they always have things like freedom, liberty, family, and they get together a lot, and they love to talk to each other a lot about why they believe in these things. And there's some really good stuff there. But they say the same thing. And they don't say anything that interests me in the least. Nothing. One's as good as the other. One's as good as the other. Now let me ask you something. Let me explain something to you. Democrats don't have this. Liberals don't have this. They don't get together and have to remind each other, well, you know, what our whole thing is family and abortion. I mean, they have rallies and they have, situational, but they don't always have to remind themselves of this. They just don't do this. They don't have American flags. They don't worry about they have events that are dealing with, let's say, abortion, but they don't do this. Now, before we get into this, let me ask you one question. Here is the question that I want to ask you. There was a wonderful event called Freedom Forum, Freedom Event, Freedom, Liberty, Freedom, free, to be free, Liberty, Freedom, Truth. Truth is a big one. Imagine you're talking to, and this is, you either, and I know you get it, but they don't get it. I'm talking to the unannounced voter, the kind of on-the-fence voter, as it were. And it works something like this. Are you free Most people would say, I'm free. Name one thing you can't do. Name. I don't mean say something on YouTube or I can't say this. What can you not do that you want to do? That somebody running for office can change. What is it that you want to do? Is it guns? What are you not free to do? Most Americans would say, I'm pretty free. I don't really have anything I want to. No, but you are under the yoke of, no, not really. I'm okay. What are you, what? What are you not free to do? You see, this is the part that if the Republicans can't figure this out, we're just playing these things with each other all the time. We're talking about stuff that makes sense of, oh, that's good. Klaus Schwab, CBDCs, digital currencies, central bank digital currencies, Agenda 2030. We love this stuff, but to the guy that we're trying to pull into the ranks of this, the undecided, the independent, what are we doing? Nothing. We're doing nothing. We play to ourselves and play with ourselves, which is an interesting concept. We just talk to each other as though everybody agrees. We don't care whether anybody even understands it. What are you talking about? Free? Who's not free? You're not free. I'm free. No, you're not. You're not free. This is miserable. I'm being okay. It's always been whatever. So that's the first thing. Remember, if what you're saying is so esoteric, I heard somebody was talking the other day. He referred to somebody as saying, I don't want to black pill you. I said, you can't say that. You can't use this lingo, this jargon. We're trying to win people over. Republicans don't care about that. They couldn't care less about winning elections, what they want. They only talk to themselves. Period. Okay. Let's talk to the good thing. Good part. Tucker Carlson today was with Mike Pence. Mike Pence committed political suicide. Mike Pence, in his moment, do you understand what I'm saying? In this moment he had with Tucker Carlson, was absolutely, positively the most stupid, and I use that word quite a bit because it's pretty good. The most stupid thing I've ever heard in my life. And let me give you this one example. We got a lot to talk about, but I want to give you the quote here. The quote's very interesting, and it works. It's very, very good that we do this. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay. Tucker Carlson was talking to Mike Pence and said about prioritizing Ukraine despite a veritable, seemingly endless litany and series of social ills, urban crises, plaguing and afflicting Americans. Okay? You heard this. Tucker, question. Where's the concern for the United States? Tucker does his thing about it. It's very good. Mike Pence. That's not my concern. Tucker, I've heard this routine from you before. That's not my concern. That's not my concern. That's not my concern. Not concerned about that. Mike Pence is a typical left-wing, right-wing person who is involved specifically with the prototypical continuation of the military-industrial complex. He is a sellout, as is the entire, listen to me, the entire United States government. He is a sellout. A sellout. Everybody's on board. We're going to give. There is so much money to be made. Imagine this. Here's a pile of cash. Whatever it is. I send it. I authorize it, acknowledge it, requisition it, and send it to Ukraine. It just goes. It'll go into some central bank. It'll be deposited somewhere. But along the way, and from the time it goes from the requisitioning, because remember, all of this there's no cash. It's just numbers, and it doesn't. There's processing here, processing there. By the time it gets all the way down the line, everybody has skimmed off more money than you can imagine. And also, in these requisition packages and legislation or whatever it is, executive orders, nobody reads through this. It's a Christmas tree. Everybody benefits. Mike Pence, Republicans, Democrats, you're in that gravy train. Let me tell you something right now. You may not like this and you may not believe this, but let me see if I can explain this to you. Most of us do not get paid $1 million. Like in a lump sum. I know most of us do not get $1 million. Boop. There you go. One of many, my friends. And when you think you've lived your life like a candle in the wind, when you think you've lived your life honorably, focused, and with the intention of doing the right thing, standing up for what's right, trying to crush the evil graft and whatever. Okay, fine. When you find yourself in that position and you get $1 million, you might say, you know what? F it. He's getting it. He's getting it. I can't stop this. What the hell? Baby needs a new pair of shoes. I'm going to do it. It's very tempting. So whenever people talk about on the ground, they've never been in that position before. You never know what you're going to do. If you're in Washington, you're in a situation, this guy's making $1 million, this guy's making $1 million, everybody's making $1 million. And it's legal. You'll never be arrested. You'll do it. And all you have to do is do this. When you go out, you talk about liberty, freedom, helping the great people of Ukraine, fighting against that tyrant Putin and whatever it is, and you're set. And everybody's saying it. The left and the right. Do you hear what I'm saying? So Mike Pence is really nothing that unique. He's making a bundle. And all he's got to do is say things like, America has always stood by the downtrodden and those individuals who need our help, to pull them up by their own bootstraps, which is a weird concept, to allow them and to facilitate and to encourage them to seek those liberties which we take for granted. Mike Pence is a sellout. He's a hack. He is a regular Paul, a politician, a part of the corrupt machine. But here's the best part. Mike Pence never sat down and said, now, Mike, you're going to be going to this event, and Tucker Carlson is going to be asking you some questions. We're going to play a little role play. Okay, Mike, you want to do that little role play? Okay, good. Let's do it. Now, sit down. Mike, I'm going to ask you a question. Something like this. So are you telling me that you care more about the people of Ukraine or Kyiv or Donetsk or Lugansk or whatever the other Crimea than you do the people of Baltimore or Chicago or people in San Francisco where they have to walk out with people defecating and shooting up defecatory egesta into syringes and killing it? Now, Mike, has this ever come up to you before? No. Have you ever thought about this, Mike? Has this ever been a problem? Has this ever been something, Mike? Because it's going to come up. You ready for this now, Mike, right? Tell me you're ready for this. What are you going to say, buddy boy? What are you going to say? How are you going to handle this? How do you handle this question? What are you going to say? Are you going to say, well, no. You can't say, well, no, you're going to answer the question. And you're going to say, you better believe it. You better believe it. This country needs so much. Our cities, our towns, our hamlets, our villages. People are afraid to go out at night. There was a time, Tucker, when I was a young man, we used to leave the door unlocked. Well, those days are far gone. And I think that we ought to determine and use all of our available resources to make sure we put enough brave men and women in the front line against crime. It's not an either or, Tucker. It's not an either or. And I understand sometimes it's difficult for people to realize and to recognize, why are we doing this? But America has never turned its back on those individuals fighting for their sense of liberty. That's not what we do. You know, Tucker, if you think about it, there's a lot of wars that we could have stayed out of. And let's face it, it would have not necessarily affected us. I don't know if anybody's really going to ever say this, but Tucker, if we had not been involved directly in World War II, I know we had Pearl Harbor, but if we had contained ourselves with just the Pacific Theater, do you think that they'd be speaking German in Cleveland? Do you think that the Weimar or whatever would be moving into Baltimore? I don't think so. And we made mistakes. You see what I just did? I said everything. I answered it for everybody. The people who want to support Ukraine. I know people who are card-carrying, liberal, demon, radical left, whatever that means. And they had a flag. They put a big flag in their yard for Ukraine. They have no idea. They have on their Facebook, Ukraine. Yeah. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. There are people on the left, people on the right. But Tucker stuck to his guns. And this is why Tucker is so great. I agree 100%. Let me just tell you something. It's none of our business. Let me say this again. You know it and I know it. You know who Kolomoisky is, right? You know where Zelensky came from, right? You know this story. You know the whole story. I know you do. I know you know the whole story. I know you know where it's from. I know you know the whole story. And I know you know exactly where this is from. And I know you know where this is coming from. I know this. Now, my friends, one of the things we have to do, and you must listen to me very carefully, is listen to him. And he was magnificent. I say unto you, he was magnificent. And it makes up for that stupid Andrew Tate interview, which so many of his acolytes just go berserk over. They don't see how interviewing a man charged with sex trafficking is to be avoided. Let the man have his day in Romanian court. Stay away from that. What are you doing? You're not picking up any fans, you idiot. The Tucker the Brilliant was wonderful today. Stay away from that. But his boneheaded acolytes, it doesn't matter. It's a great guy. No, you don't do this. Stay away. That's number one. Vivek Ramaswamy, interesting. Not ready, but interesting. Mike DeSantis just doesn't have it. Just does not. Just day one. No. And Tucker's doing this. And Tucker represents a group of people that is as close to my political ideology as anything I've ever seen. And It's a very, very, very simple. It's a very, very simple concept. I have no interest in playing Republican. To me, the Republican Party is the antidote and diluent to the radical left, demented Democrat. The Republican platform is, for all practical purposes, identical to that of the Dems. The left-right paradigm is but an illusion. Two sides of the same coin. But if you wanted to make a difference, there are some rules, which I've talked about. But the only thing that these people even remotely interest me about is that maybe they can do something to maybe, sort of, I guess, I hope, get in the way of some of this. Now, let's talk about something else. And you have to explain this. Now, I know that if I ask you this question, you could not answer it because you were too busy. You would be too honest yourself. Liz Solak says, 1 year ago today, I had the pleasure of meeting you and Mrs. L. I also got to the top of the Empire State Building. It's such a fun city. It's like one theme park. I can't wait to go back. Liz, was that a year ago? Bless your heart. Liz, I want you to come back. And we're going to take you to some places. And when you come back, Liz, we're going to show you the places real New Yorkers go. Real New Yorkers. Did you hear they got the serial killer today? The Gilgo Beach guy. Very interesting. Oh, you got to follow this one up. They found his wife, who was apparently away recently. She's from Iceland. They found his wife's hairs on three of the bodies of the women he killed. His wife's hair and his hair. I got to take this time out. There's a place called Gilgo Beach. Four or five sex workers, prostitutes. Hey, you wanna legalize that, don't you? I know you do. Liz, not you personally. And by the way, Liz, I mean that sincerely. But this guy was getting burner phones. But everybody said, this guy he's 6'6". He looked like an ogre. He went to the homes. He was seen at the homes of some of these workers, and he gets a burner. They've seen him. If you're going to kill someone, if you're going to be part of it, you don't go to their home. You don't drive up in this kind of unique-looking truck. When you're 6'6", you're getting a burner phone for what? What's a burner phone for? You're there, they see you. So apparently they found a hair from his wife and him. And they got the DNA. So what did they do? They staked out his midtown. He's an architect. An architect, too. Relatively prosperous. Not exactly the usual jadrul, you would think. And they wait outside. And he orders a pizza or is eating, and he tosses his pizza away. They take the pizza, the crust, whatever, the detritus, the postprandial remnants, the orts of food, and they, by the way, ort, O-R-T, great word. And they take the food, they analyze it, and lo and behold, they find DNA. And they get him. And they got him all over the place. Plus, they've got his Google search that says, how do you I don't know what the hell the story is. How do you hide bodies? I mean, it's the most incredible story. And he turns to his lawyer crying and says, I didn't do it. I said, okay, well, this is a story and a half. But anyway, we'll talk about later on. Now let's talk about January 6th. What is January 6th? Now, by the way, you got to understand this. The New York Post said that this was a pro-Putin cavalcade or whatever it was that was supposedly done, and they thought this was all horrible. Now, let me explain to you what was January 6th, shall we? May I explain that to you? It's a very, very simple thing. Number one. January 6th was known about before it happened. They announced it. They didn't just show up one day and said, hey, we're January 6th. No. That's number one. Number two, they could have stopped this like that. If all of a sudden these tough guys, the guy with the eye patch and the Proud Boys and the Boogaloo Boys and the whatever boys and the boys and the... If they showed up and there's the 82nd Airborne or whatever the hell it is, they would say, okay, not today. But that's not what they meant. Trump even told Pelosi to bring National Guard. No, we don't want that. Now, you know the difference between MIHOP and LIHOP. MIHOP and LIHOP. MIHOP is make it happen on purpose. LIHOP is let it happen on purpose. You see how that works? Good. Now, it's something like this, and this is important. The folks that were involved in this, the folks that were there, showed up, and again, they could have been stopped. Believe me, they could have been stopped. They could, all right, not today. This is unruly. We reserve the right to cancel, to revoke any kind of parade permit or assembly permit if we think there are too many people or if other reasons militate against you or there. We can do it. Do you understand that? We can do it. And whether there's Ray Epps, federal assets, whatever you want to, doesn't matter. They could have done that, but they didn't do that. Especially when you've got people saying, come on in. And they're walking around and you got the guy with the Valkyrie helmet, the shaman dude, and this one and that one, and they're walking around, hey, how are you? And they're praying. Stupid. Trespass, you betcha. Though it's, I think they might have a defense where people are saying, come on in. Okay. So when Mike Pence was there, remember they were saying at one point, let's get Mike Pence. There was a noose. And for all practical purposes, let me tell you something. Once you're in the middle of this is scary stuff. This is scary stuff. Now, one of the things which is important, one of the things which is critical and something for you to know, is that Mike Pence kind of said, well, I didn't think it was an insurrection. Mike, it wasn't an insurrection. It wasn't a rebellion. It wasn't anything. It was stupid. And it might have been, as I've told you a million times, under the seditious conspiracy statute. If you read it, it's very, very broad. So, Mike, let's just end this once and for all. The country, and listen to me, Mike, the country was in no risk whatsoever of being turned over to hostile forces. So the civilization did not come to an end that day. Correct? Correct. Let's just call it the way it is. Now, was President Trump... Watch this. I'm going to ask this question like I know what you're going to say. Who believes that President Trump might have been a little bit more careful with his words? Now, some people have heard him say specifically, go home or be peaceful, whatever it is. But do you admit, do you agree that President Trump might be just a little bit responsible for not quelling the situation or perhaps maybe stirring it up just a little bit? What do you think? Give me your opinion. Watch this. Do you think President Trump was a little bit negligent in maybe not picking his words carefully? Do you think so? Do you think so? Yes or no? Watch this. As though I've got to ask. Watch what happens. Do you think the president might have been a little bit? Yep. There we go. Yep. No. He said walk peacefully and let your voices be heard. That's right. He never said that. Right. I don't think so. He said that later. But if you think for 1 minute, honestly speaking, that he was in no way, when you're looking out and there's all these people Now think about this. And you've got these people with flags in camouflage, in, the Gadsden flag. Come on. You can't tell these people anything. You've got to let them go home. Look what happened to Ray Epps. Look what happened to the Sandy Hook folks. You got to understand something. People today are stupid. People don't, they need anything to make them lose their mind. And there is another thing. There is this kind of a quasi-militant type who some would say, okay, I'm going to go home. The first time I would look out, I would have said to the president, you get on there and you say, go home. If you can't see the storm clouds, you're crazy. If you can't see what's happening right now, you're out of your mind. Somebody's going to get hurt. I hope nobody gets hurt or shot. This is not good. Break this up now. Break it up now. But no, people can say, no, that's not what he said. He said, walk. Would you open your eyes? Look at this. Go home. But people are so moronic, they go, no, you don't understand. We're right. And the tree of liberty. And see, this is where I'm thinking to myself, you people are jadrools. You're morons. What is the matter? And then there was that Kimberly Guilfoyle dancing Gloria, or whatever the song was. Because she thought everybody wanted to see her dance because she was so sexy. Oh, my God. When I saw that, I thought, oh, God, this is not good. This is not good. What are you doing? Trump was so pissed off about that vote, he couldn't see straight. I don't think he in any way actively incited insurrection or rebellion. But if you think that he could have done a hell of a lot more to shut that down, oh, man, what is the matter? And people will fight. No, he didn't do anything wrong. Yes, he did. He should have said, stop it. This is going to be, can you see these people? These people, and when these tough guys, these soldier wannabes, put on their camis and their mirrored glasses and the flag, oh God, here we go. Now either you get that or you don't. It's like the same people who think, I think Andrew Tate was a good interview because even though he's charged with rape and sexual battery, and human trafficking, he's good because he empowers young men. Or what? You think this is good for... It doesn't matter because we're perfect and we do things that are right and we don't want to be told that we're wrong. Oh, my God. Now, Trump isn't... But under this seditious conspiracy statute... Whoa. See, you can't tell people... And go and let your voices be. Don't tell them that. These people are morons. Look at him. Look at this guy. He looks like he's what, in the 82nd Airborne. He's got war paint and a. Come on, go home. Somebody's gonna get hurt. What's the matter with people? What's the matter? People think like I can't say that because I can't say anything about Trump. Say it. It's okay. You see, let me explain something to you. When you're neither a Republican or a Democrat, you can say whatever you want. Like this war in Ukraine, it's none of our business. That was completely contrived, pushed, motivated, goaded, or rather Putin was. Everybody knows that. We did this. That was on purpose. Come on. You know that. Okay. Let me give you another example. This is how stupid people are. This is the thing. There is a video, a little clip of a girl, and it looks like Mike Pence, but I don't think it is. But there's a picture of this little girl throwing this, I think it's ice or an ice ball or something, at the back of this guy, and she nails this guy. And they say it was from July 4th. And the headline says, headshot, with a little piece of Joe Rogan overreacting like he's seen something great. And I asked the question, are we celebrating this now? Are we celebrating this? Throwing something, hitting somebody in the headshot. And by the way, that girl, and I can't authenticate it. I don't know if it's real, if it was, I don't know anything about this. But this is how stupid people are. So they're posting it. And when she's throwing a missile, you know this is a crime, right? You can't do this. You can't hit somebody in the head. It's battery. I don't think it's aggravated battery or mayhem or anything like that, but throwing a missile, throwing a deadly missile, whatever it is. And there's a picture of her, and these idiots, part of this same crowd, like this January 6th crowd, these folks, they're lauding this. They think it's terrific what she did. I don't understand this. See, I don't fit in this. Like, what are you doing? Whatever happened to common sense? Oh, common sense went nowhere. Now, here's the next picture. Did you see the picture of Joe Biden with this poor kid from Finland? Go on Twitter. I think it was in Finland. There it is. Yeah. And this kid looks so scared. And he's going up to this kid and doing like this. And the kids look at him like, what are you doing? Now, here's this old man with paper-thin skin and the hair plugs and the watery eyes and the whole bit. And the mother is like trying to get a picture. And the kid looks scared. Now, do you think somebody in that family ever said, Mr. President, do not, look at me, go up and smell a kid, touch a kid, kiss a kid, smell the kid's hair, touch the kid's hair, touch the kid's clothes, touch the kid's body, kiss, whisper, this is our little secret, nothing. What are you? Do you not understand? You are perceived as a lech, a perverted, scabrous, licentious, concupiscent lech, a lecher, a pervert, a deranged, demented demon, an inappropriate coot, a wizened dotard, a man hobbled by decrepitude. Don't touch a kid. Don't get near the kid. Do I make myself clear? I've instructed them. We will give you one of these in the back of the neck, and you're going to be... By the way, this here, right here, there's something there. Nerve, pressure point. You know when you see these karate chops on TV? You ever see that? Like, what does that do? One time I was talking to somebody, and I was just trying to mimic something, and I said, and I went like that to replicate the I almost passed out. This is a very serious. I don't know what this is, but if you take and here, it's lights out. Just want to let you know. There is something to that. Remember High Karate commercial? Okay. So that's Joe. Out of his tree. Gone. But the good news... Oh, and then there's this story. There's a Portland surgeon with pink hair who reveals the drawbacks of genital transops on kids. Did you see this one? A pink-haired Portland surgeon who performs sex change surgery on trans children admits they face a lifetime of infertility, incontinence, and sexual dissatisfaction in a now deleted video. There you go. Now, I don't know about you, but I think Tucker might have said, and can we talk a little bit about this while we're at it? Okay? Can we talk a little bit about this? Just if you don't mind. If you just don't mind. Okay? And maybe we'll do this. Now, here's the bottom line. Let me see if I can explain this again to you. I don't want to hear anything about you being a Republican. I am not a Republican. If I ran for office and said, this is what I want, I would never, ever be elected. Let me also say something to you, my dear friends. You want to lose an election? It's up to you. Remember, the Democrats stole it legally. If you think you're going to win an election, and they're praying you're going to do this, by making abortion illegal, if you think that somehow, because it's a human being, if you think you're going to do that, you'll never win an election. You're dead. You're done. You're finished. Done. I'm just telling you that. If you say, and because life begins at conception, which is true, I think that goes without saying. And because it's a human life, well, it's not a duck, it's a human. Killing it is murder. All right, I'll give you that one. I don't know if it's murder, that's the criminal removal, but it is certainly the termination of a human life. Absolutely. I don't know if it's manslaughter. I don't know if it should be subject to criminal, but you're right about that. Therefore, I move for a federal ban. Now, remember, there is no right under federal law, but there's nothing to prevent a federal ban. Now, is that going to ever happen? No. But if you do, I'm just telling you, you're going to lose. You know that, right? So just you might say, oh, I don't care. Fine. Because the Republicans don't care about winning or losing. They have no interest whatsoever in any of this. They don't care about it. They don't care about it as long as they're right. I think abortion is murder. It's murder that's a little different. It's murder that we as a whole should do everything in our power to convince women, please, don't do this. We will put we'll take some of that Ukrainian money. We will have orphanages, or we will do everything. We'll take care of everything, like the Sisters of Mercy, these wonderful Catholic nuns in New York do. We will pay for your baby to be born. We will put it up for adoption. You won't have to worry about anything. Just please, we're here to help you. We'll give you the best medical care. We'll give you money. We'll do everything that we do, like, for BLM and reparations and all. We got plenty of money. But prohibit it? No. To put a woman in prison? No, because if you believe that the life begins at conception, and if you believe that abortion is murder, and then that means you're going to have to charge her with a crime. And if you do that, I'm just warning you, you're dead politically. You're dead. And I guarantee you, there ain't one person who would ever say to their daughter, you're going to have an abortion over my dead body, especially depending upon who the father is, because men still get people pregnant. So this is one of those theoretical things that we talk about, and it's normally people who have nothing to worry about or nothing. It's a horrible thing. It's one of those weird. And by the way, they'll have no problem whatsoever at all when it comes to, the death penalty. That's okay. It's part of our world. Have you heard lately? All of a sudden, there's this World Health Organization is against aspartame, right? Equal, as a artificial sweetener, because it may be carcinogenic. Everybody, I forget the CDC, WHO, who has ruled or has determined that the processed meats, nitrates, nitrosamines, bacon, all this stuff, as like a class 1 carcinogenic. They don't care the first thing about it. Screw that. That's bacon. I don't care. But aspartame, different story. People are weird like that. They care about this, but not that. They charged the woman, they call her the Percocet princess, a woman, they charged her federally for supplying Robert De Niro's grandson with drugs. Felony, federal. We have a thing called Big Pharma that basically destroys lives constantly. I don't want to go through that again.
She's a well-known.
She sells to kids. Oh yeah. Oh, she's a bad person. No, Percocet. She sells to kids. You know who else sells to kids? Big Pharma. Little kids. May wet his bed. I got something for him. Psych meds. Mood elevators. Mood down. And the medical profession itself. We got a guy right here with pink hair who was talking about genital mutilation. That doesn't bother us. But we're going to get this woman who sells illegal drugs. Fentanyl, no problem. Opioids, no problem. From Mexico, no problem. But this woman, remember when Philip Seymour Hoffman, they were going to charge, or maybe they did, the person who sold him the heroin? Excuse me, why don't we go to Afghanistan? And you know who's guarding the poppies? We are. Shouldn't the United States government be a co-defendant? We are the most hypocritical when it comes to drugs. We've got cannabis shops on every corner. Kids, the number of kids being brought to emergency rooms is through the roof. When I say these ads are, hey, I'm Cheech and Chong, I'm Chong, hey, here's some man. Come on, man. Seriously. We were there in the 70s and 80s. That stuff ain't whatever you're selling. So we live in a world of hypocrisy. We live in a world of hypocrisy. And they still, this is the best part, they still want to get Assange for espionage. They want to get Snowden for espionage. And Trump wanted to get those bastards for espionage. But now Trump is saying, espionage? I didn't do that. Wait a minute. What's the difference? What's the difference? Difference is this is now me. Now, I think it's stupid all the way around. But isn't it funny how when it's directed towards you, you change yourself. You change your mind. You change the way you look at things. And by the way, going back to this Gilgo murderer, all these girls were hookers. All of these people were hookers. That's exactly what they were. They were people, they were, sad to say, very, very sad to say, but they were people who were themselves sex workers. Now, do you think that somehow legalizing and getting more sex workers is going to make things better? Do you know how many unsolved murders there are in this country? So here's my thing. You could take all these Republican things, CPAC and this and that, and you can have them. You can have them. And the reason why is because the Republicans are the biggest bunch of phonies I have ever seen in my life. The Democrats, depraved, demented, detached, diverted, distracted. But you know what? They get things done. They don't care. You don't have any of these. You don't have these, I don't know. So I want to say something again on the record. What Tucker Carlson today was saying regarding cluster bomb, I don't know if you mentioned that, cluster bombs, or the fact that that Russia never killed one American, but Mexico has, they're our ally. Spot on. Spot on. Keep it up. Good for you. Yes. NATO. Get out of NATO. What is the purpose of this? Trump was right about that too. We need this. We also need somebody. I'm going to say something to you. We need a rational person to discuss UFOs. Not Stephen Greer, not Elizondo, or whatever these people. No. And we're not talking about the tic-tac. We need that. We need somebody to be able to discuss AGI. This is something you've got to get right the first time, my dear friend. You understand that? This is the first time. And I made a video, and I'm telling you before, the number one fear that they're worried about more than anything else in the White House is Biden falling. And everybody has said, all the medical professionals says he has to have a walker. He can't walk by himself. And they said, no way. No way. You cannot. No. They're risking this man's life. And by the way, I keep saying by the way, Trump not showing up to these stupid things is the best thing ever. Just look at these people. Look at Vivek Ramaswamy. Smart guy. I don't know, being a president, I don't, I'll take smart any day. That's the thing that somebody, at least you can talk some sense to. Ron DeSantis, they are bailing so fast, it's not even funny. He just doesn't have it. It's not there. Who else? These, I don't know, Youngkin or who knows? But I have no time for these people. And I want to leave you with something. What are you going to tell the undecided voter? Hey, vote for me. Why? Here's why. Who? Trump scares the hell out of people. You got to get something through your head. You may like him, and that's great. But he scares people. You think somebody unsure is going to vote for Trump? Are you kidding me? He comes across as a nut. Either he has to calm down. He's not, but he's going to have more problems. But still. Bobby Kennedy Jr. Bobby Kennedy Jr. is what Tucker said on steroids. Might be literally, I don't know, but everything he is saying, and also to all of my dear friends who are into this gun stuff, and again, you will never meet anybody who believes in the Second Amendment more than I do. I want you to get it through your heads that people don't care about bump stock stuff and black talent and cop killers and magazine capacity. They don't know what you're talking about. When you talk like that and you stand like Matt Gaetz and Boebert standing around with guns, you look like a fool. And you scare people. Save that. You're not helping anybody. You're just preaching to the choir. That's the part that scares me. And the best part, they are now becoming, for the most part, for the first time in a long time, they are coming out of the woodwork. Out of the woodwork. In showing how to what am I trying to say? Showing how to put kids back in the main consideration. All right. This is, speaking of kids, this is Mrs. L's YouTube channel. I ask you to subscribe to it. Click on that link I put right there for you. It goes right to the subscription. Liz Solak, dear Liz, thank you so much for your kindness, your compassion, your attention to detail. Thank you so much. And thank you, my friends. We will not be on tomorrow morning. We have an engagement. But we'll be back tomorrow night at this time to take your thoughts and comments. Thank you so much. Don't forget our friends at mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. And until tomorrow night, my friends, remember these words. The monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you. Ta-ta.